Hi everyone, Carl here again, trying to work through my pile of unfinished miniatures. November has been a very busy month, so I thought I'd go through some of the miniatures I had previously painted but not finished, and base them up nicely just so I don't lose momentum. The first batch of miniatures will be these 12 Halflings, which I used back when the Empire army still had Halflings. When I bought these guys back in the late 90s, the manufacturer was called Harlequin Miniatures, if I'm not mistaken, but they have changed their name or whatever and are now called Black Tree Design. I'm happy to report that these little guys are still available, and I will leave a link in the description below. They also have command models, but I was never able to get hold of these back then, so I converted my own standard bearer. Next up are these two Empire Captains, which I kit bashed from the Citadel Empire Soldiers and Empire Knights plastic kits. Must have done these in the first years of the century. Then we have the Empire Volley Gun, which is one of my favorite pieces of artillery in Warhammer. Not sure when it was first released, but it shows up in the 1992 Citadel Miniatures catalog, so it's old. The engineer here is also one of my favorite miniatures in general. Must have painted this sometime around 1998. This is a vampire count character converted for a D&D villain. It's based on a marauder knight on foot, the head and blade from an Empire militia kit, and some sculpted detail like the amulet, cape and the mail coif. This guy also saw a lot of use in Mordheim. Last but not least, this Gnoll, which I believe was released by Wizards of the Coast back when D&D 3rd edition came out. That would have been sometime around 2000 if I'm not mistaken. To base this lot, I used my texture paint, which I made in the previous video, link in the description, and just spread it on the bases with a kebab stick. One thing I like about this is that you can push it around and kind of sculpt it a little, so it piles up around the miniatures, which makes it look like they have a bit more weight. Plus it's really easy to use, you just need to pay a little attention so it doesn't go anywhere it shouldn't. The volley gun base already had a bit of texture in it, so I incorporated this in the new texture, just avoiding patches where there were glue marks, from where it had been glued previously. When the first pass was dry, I glued on the gun carriage and added some more texture paint behind the wheels, to make it look like it had been dragged to position. On some of the bases I did a little dry brushing with a mix of ivory and burnt umber. This is not necessary in most cases because the textured paint will already have some slight color variations of its own, but I wanted to accentuate it a little. Once all the bases were dry, I painted on some patches of heavily watered down PVA glue. 50-50 with water should do it, and sprinkled some flock on them. I let this cure, then dabbed at the bases with wet water. That's 50-50 alcohol and water. And then dab them again with watered down PVA glue. This really locks the flock in place. To finish off the bases, I cleaned up the bevels with black paint. Of course you can use any color you like here. The halflings weren't table ready yet, they were still missing a banner. I painted one on some envelope paper. To attach the banner, first I dampened the back of the paper a little, then painted on some watered down glue. I put the banner on a pole, and as it dried I shaded it a little so it didn't look like the guy is carrying a signpost. I also painted some PVA on the faces of the banner to strengthen it. And I think I'll call these guys the Rampaging Cocks, just so that I can tell my opponents that their troops were shafted by Rampaging Cocks when I did something. And that's 20 models based up, which puts me at n-25, where n is the number of unfinished miniatures I have. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave me a comment below. In the next video, I'll be building some really basic hill terrain, so see you around then.